Some days we can feel a bit off, and I know for myself when I feel this way, sometimes it's something that is beyond my control. Sometimes it's just because I didn't make the best decisions when it comes to how I've prepared myself or my surroundings for different things. Or, I don't know, the list goes on and on. But I know that when I want to kind of have a reset of sorts, or just to make sure that things flow in a way that makes me feel better for the day to come, one of the things that I like to do is to make my bed. This is the perfect place to begin, in my opinion, because it just brings a sense of calm and order to my space, especially that space that matters so much to me, that place that I wake up in the morning, the place that I go to bed at night, the first place I see, the last place I see at night. So I've been feeling this way, especially just because there have been some things that have come up and I haven't been in my normal routine of sorts. And then, because I wasn't home for the whole entire day yesterday, which was Monday, and then I came home and our water main broke. So there was just all this flooding out in front of our home, and it was just a mess. And thankfully the water hadn't been turned off just yet, and I had the sense enough, I guess, to fill the tub with some water, just thinking ahead. Didn't know how long we would have, or we would be going without water once they turned it off to fix things, but that was something that, you know, just came to me to do, which at the time my husband kind of laughed at me because we have this large body of water with the pool, but I was thinking that that wouldn't be something that I would want to walk up and down the stairs to bring all that water, and especially for where we would really need it, which would be in the bathroom. So anyway, that's just something that I did. But all of that to say that I just feel very off, especially today, without being able to have access to water, which has really made me very grateful for those little luxuries that we have. Actually, they're huge luxuries, right? Clean running water. Not everybody gets to enjoy that. But as I was hanging my head over my sink this morning, washing my hair, and you know, the same for my husband, and just those little things that you can really take for granted. I was very thankful that we had the ability to heat up the water that we had, and you know, just to have, it's those little things, and to be able to find contentment even in that time. And where am I going with this? Well, that's just to say that things felt off today. But I was also thankful that I had an extra set of sheets, because I didn't get to change my sheets yesterday, but with the lady of the house method, I like to do that on a Monday if possible, but it wasn't possible yesterday. So that was the first thing that I wanted to do today, was just to change my sheets. I'm not going to be able to wash them today, but that's okay. I have a fresh set of sheets on there that I will get to enjoy for the entire week. And when the water gets turned back on again, I will then wash those sheets. But that's one of the benefits to me of having an extra set, because sometimes things just come up and, you know, you're not able to wash them, dry them, put them back on right away. So that's, I'm not saying that's the reason why, but I just think sometimes that we don't know what kind of things will come our way within a day. And so that's one of the reasons I do like to have a second set, is so that I'm not pressed in having to have it done right away. But back to resetting and doing something that brings me comfort and a place to begin. That place to begin for me is in the bedroom. And I just have to say that I feel so wonderful today, even though I'm not able to go and, well, I guess I could do the dishes, but we're going to use the fact that the sink is not running right now. The faucet is not running with water, that I'm not going to be doing the dishes right now. Although I think that there's a very easy way to do dishes, especially if you're limited on water. And it would be fun just to, maybe I will do that. Maybe I will just, because I do have enough water in the tub to be able to bring some in there. I would just, fill a little bowl, well, a big bowl with some hot soapy water. And then another thing that you could do is to have another bowl with fresh water, and then you just dip your dishes in there just to get the suds off. And it may not be, fresh flowing water, but it still gets off a lot of, what's on there. I'm just saying it's possible to do dishes, and I will likely probably go in there at some point today to do that. But this was the place for me to begin today. And with that, I also thought, well, I can't do a lot of other things that maybe I would think that I would do, like the laundry or things like that, but I could do stuff in here in my office. And I ended up looking on my within my email, and I saw that the books for the Lifebooks are now available for 2026. And so I want to make that announcement here, that if you would like to purchase a Lifebook, which the cost of them I brought down a bit. They are $26 a piece, and that's for the hardcover designs. And I have two new designs available. I have Blush Royalty and Blue Royalty. That's what I have. So I have two different designs, and it's not a watercolor painting or any of my watercolor paintings, but it is just a beautiful design. I will do my best to show you on here what it looks like. And we also have some little changes that I've made to the inside, which I've shared in previous videos, that, as I tweak different things here and there, I do change the layout a bit, but overall it's pretty much the same. So I thought that I would walk through that today with you and just share what I have going on with these pages, especially for those of you who would like to have a real look at what's inside, because I don't have pictures available on my like when you would go to purchase it, I don't have interior pictures available. So I just want to show you some of the pages and what they would look like, what you can come to expect when you purchase a Lifebook. So first and foremost, let me just share the cover page. So as you can see, we just have the Lady of the House 2026 Lifebook, and scrolling down, this is just going to be from page to page. I have a letter to the Lady of the House, and that is something new for 2026. And then it goes into the 2026 calendar and then the 2027 calendar. And then we have important dates. This has not changed. Yearly goals, monthly goals, 2 pages worth of that, and then the everyday. So the everyday is just those 6 items that I encourage you to do within the Lady of the House method every day to make yourself feel pulled together and just like you are able to have a well-run home. Now, this isn't the deep cleaning side of it or the housekeeping side of it, but it's just those 6 items that make you feel pretty pulled together throughout the day, not just in what you're wearing, but in how your home is being run. And then we have the housekeeping portion of it, which this goes into the daily focus areas. So we have a daily focus for Sunday of person planning, and I have it broken up into the tasks that you would do for your purse, to change that out, to empty the contents, distribute items, wash the exterior, and change it if you would like to. And then also for your planning, which would be to visit your goals, plan meals and the week, and then write your to-do list. Now I have these pages on either side. That way, these are just blank lined pages for yourself. If you would like to put on there anything extra that you would like to do or something else that you would like to focus on for that day, I think that it makes it to where it's a lot more versatile for each lady of the house, so that she can put in there what she would like to do perhaps. Then it goes into Monday with the daily focus of the bedroom or bedrooms, and just the list of things that you may want to focus on. And at the very end, at the very bottom, it says what you may be laundering. And that is just something as a suggestion. Because I focus on the bedroom, I like to launder bedding. And then, of course, blank pages. So I'll just quickly walk you through the days of the week and what the focus day is. Tuesday, the daily focus is the bathrooms. Laundering would be towels. And then Wednesday, the daily focus is the kitchen and the pantry. And of course, there are several different things that you could focus on within that particular day, but you do not have to, of course, go through that whole entire list and do all of those things. It's just what you feel as the lady of the house, your home and this space may need on that particular day. But remember that if you don't get to it that day, something within the list, next week rolls around, you can assess what needs to be done then. And this really varies from household to household. So that's one of the reasons why I really like to have it broken up this way, and just to kind of not put so much pressure on ourselves of, oh, we need to do this every single week or this every single month. And, it really does depend on your household. So on Wednesday, I also have to launder hers. That means the lady of the house and her clothing. But again, this isn't something that you have to stick to if that is not what works best for your home. However, if you are looking for a method because maybe what you have been doing all this time or what you've tried in the past hasn't worked, maybe this method might work for you, and I would encourage you to give it a go. Thursday's daily focus is floors and errands, and then the laundry would be to launder his. So if you are married and you tend to take care of his laundry, that would be the day to launder his. Unless, of course, yours is like mine and he just puts his laundry out there whenever it is that he feels it needs to be done. So there's always that option too. Friday, the daily focus is the living spaces. Are the living spaces? So that can be many different spaces. It could be your living room, your dining room. It could be your home office if you so choose to, focus on that space. Now within here, I did put the office and the laundry. So we'll get into that, but it could be several different areas if you want it to, or you can just focus on the living room and the dining room, for instance, the family room, things like that. It just depends how many different spaces you have and how much time you have. Maybe you want to cycle every single week with a different space, completely up to you. And on that day, I say launder linens. Linens can be many different things. It doesn't just have to be limited to bedding and, your bathroom linens, your towels, for instance. It could be washcloths. It could be tablecloths, table runners, your pillow covers, like your throw pillow covers, your curtains, things like that. Just things throughout the house, linens that may need some attention. And then we get to Saturday. Saturday, the daily focus is the car and the outdoor spaces. And this really depends on your household again. Not everyone has a garden. Not everyone has a garage. Not everyone has a car even. So it just depends. Make sure that you tailor it to you and what makes the most sense for your household. But to me, that's a great time to focus on that, especially when you have more, maybe you have other people at home that can help out with these things. That would be a great time to consider those spaces. And for that, I also say to launder theirs. It may be a great day if you're doing your children's laundry to focus on theirs then, or if they do their own laundry, like my children do their own laundry, that would be a great time for them to catch up on those kind of things instead of maybe doing it throughout the week when maybe they have after school activities or things like that. Then we have the office, and I have before the end of the week. So these are different tasks that you may want to consider before the end of the week. And it also depends on what your schedule is like to be able to focus on these different things. And so that's just a little portion that I put in here just to remind you that maybe you want to pay your bills, file papers, clear your desk and dust, clean the computer, declutter the desktop, answer emails, back up files, and organize that space. So really, again, up to you. Okay, I had to change my battery, so if things look different, that's why. Then the next thing we get into is the morning routine. So I was convinced to put a blank slate here for anyone who would like to write out basically your ideal morning routine. So that, again, will look different from lady to lady. And so I have a page for the morning routine and a page for the evening routine. That's something that is really good to work through, especially on paper, in my opinion. And it gives you something to refer back to. So then we get into the months, and for the Lady of the House Life book, I continue to have a double month spread. That way you can keep your home care tasks or just your daily life, like those things maybe for yourself and your family, separate from other things like your work or any other kind of habit tracking that you may want to do, other goals that you may be working on, just things like that. So it's really up to you as far as how you would like to use these double month spreads. But that is something that is very unique to the Lady of the House Life book, because I know for myself, and not to mention they are small spaces that you'd be writing in, but for myself, I know that it can feel overwhelming to see everything on one day. And I like to kind of shift my focus, if you will, when there are certain things that I want to be considering, whether that is, the things that I'm going to be writing out for work, and then those things that I would need to write out for appointments and birthdays and different things like that I may be doing. I really want those things separate from the other things that I would like to see and like to work on. So that was my mentality behind having two different months or the monthly spreads for each month. So once we get through all of the months, then we will arrive at the daily pages. So on the left side of the book, you will have your menu, your list, and your schedule. And there is a very faint line here. So if you would like to write out, the times that you need to do something and just basically break the schedule down, that's what this portion is for. The list could be anything. The list could be your shopping list, or maybe your list of goals that you have for the day. And then, of course, up here, there is a portion for the menu, and that is a great place just to jot down what it is that you would like to have on the menu that day. It kind of puts your mind at ease. Dinner is figured out, or whatever else you would like to write in there, maybe lunch and dinner. And then you have that figured out and you don't have to worry about it so much. And then the next side, on the right side, we have a header up here that, or a box I should say, that you could put whatever you would like in there. Maybe you want to put the date, I don't know. And then there are just lines, so that maybe you even want to do a little diary entry, or just something about the day that you would like to write, or just another list. Whatever it is that you, as the lady of the house, would like to write on here, that is now how these daily pages are set up. So I know for myself, I don't need to break everything down every single day. There are just some days where I feel like doing that, and especially to figure out a day and map it all out, that's something that is very helpful. But it's not something that I need every day. And so that's one of the reasons these daily pages are not dated, and why there's so much flexibility within them is because each of us kind of think differently along those lines. And I know for myself, I always feel bad near the end of the year if I haven't used, certain days, or just all the pages that could have been used. That's something that can tend to bother me. So that's one of the reasons they're undated and also broken up in this way. So you can use it in a way that suits you the best. Then we're going to switch over to what comes after the daily pages, which I have to go to another screen to do this. But then we get into the budget. So I know for myself, I've found this to be very helpful, especially when I'm just kind of thinking things out. I really like to have my budget pages because it helps me to just kind of gather the information for each month. And that comes down to what income is coming in. I break that down, and then different expenses. There's a space for all of that. Although I understand if you do something for this on your computer, I know that I do. I have a numbers section on my computer that I like to break the budget down within that. But just know that there are these options. You have the bills and fixed expenses. You also have, let me make this a little larger. You also have variable expenses over on this side, and then the summary. So the total income, the bills and fixed expenses, variable expenses, and then the balance at the end. So if that's something that you really like to have on hand or just to look at from time to time, that's why I think it's really nice to have that within the Lifebook. At least I have for myself. I just love to be able to see things on paper sometimes. And so that has been so helpful for me, even though I tend to break things down and whatnot in a computer program. That's just me. And again, you can even put something over this whole page or decide to use it in another way if you want to, just to make that page more useful for you if you so desire. But next to each of these pages are also the blank boxes with the lines, and so you can use those as you would wish to. And sometimes maybe you would like to write out, I don't know, something that you want to get somebody for gifts, or different things like that, different goals that you may have when it comes to your monthly budgets. So going through all of the monthly budgets, once we are done with December, we have a savings tracker. So I no longer have a debt tracker within this Lifebook, but that is something that I figured you could use these pages for as well if it was something that you wanted to work through. But I do have a savings tracker here, what you're saving for, the amount to save, the goal monthly deposit that you have, and then just a way to keep track of all of that. And then of course, just lots of line pages here for you to choose to use them as you wish. And then of course, it has a closing letter to the lady of the house. So that is the Lifebook in a nutshell. And I checked and I double checked. So I'm really hoping that all of the dates are correct in this. If there is anything wrong, I'm sure I will be informed of that, and then I will inform you. But I did check everything a lot and just to make sure everything was good. So I just ordered mine today, and it says that it takes about 3 to 5 weeks to arrive, especially with these hardcover books that are print on demand through Amazon. But I have all of them linked in my description box below, all of the different designs. And I know that you can click on the Inspired by Nikki little tab there once you click on one of the links for these books, and it should be able to show you all of the different books that are available. Don't forget that I do have hardcover diaries available as well. Usually they correspond with the matching life book as well. I did not put something like that for the new ones that just came out, the new designs that just came out. So it's just for the other ones that are hand painted ones. So anyway, if you are interested in having the Lady of the House life book for 2026, I hope you will purchase yours today. Make sure that you get it as soon as possible. That way you have it in time for the new year as it begins. I did notice that one of you purchased the Blush Royalty life book. I think it was yesterday. So I just want to thank you already for that. I just realized today that they were available. I didn't even see the update in my inbox, but I'm just so thrilled that they are. So thank you so much ahead of time for those of you who support me in this endeavor that I have, taken on in creating planners and life books for those of you who really do like the Lady of the House method and would just like to have something like that to refer back to. Of course, this is laid out differently because this was last year's, or this year's I should say, but this is not for 2026, but this is laid out a little differently. But just, to be able to have that to refer back to, I think it's always nice to be able to do that, especially when you feel like you are stuck in a rut, you need a place to begin. Maybe you tried the Lady of the House method and then you kind of got off track, and then you want to go back to it and refer back to it. It's always good to have something like this at your fingertips and to be able to just get your life back in order and to feel as if you have everything pulled together, even when it's not. Because today, for example, it's not all pulled together, but guess what? We're making the most of it. So anyway, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really hope that this video inspired you in some way, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.
Welcome to Inspired by Nikki. On today's episode, getting rid of the TV in our room, because who would want that?